Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from a cold dead.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the gangster of guns, the Mac Daddy of knives, the epic one, the Southern Republic, is back to talk to you about another HTM knife. It's number 2 in our series of 4, and this is the Darrel Ralph HTM DDR Gun Hammer, Bowie edition. Now, there are some reviews out there that absolutely scathe this knife and tell you not to buy it. And no offense, but those guys are douchebags. This is a sexy, sweet-ass, awesome, everyday carry type of knife. I absolutely love this thing. I can't rave enough about how sexy this damn knife is. So let's get the generals out of the way right quick. This is the knife you get. Comes in, as usual, your HTM box with your HTM knife koozie, or, you know, cocoon, or whatever you want to call them. So that's what you get in the box, and the knife. So overall, we've got 9 inches. Now this is the large gun hammer. There is a regular size gun hammer that is slightly smaller, more along the lines of the Greg Lightfoot bullwhip size that you saw in the last video. This one is the large edition one. This one actually I got directly from Darrel Ralph himself at SHOT Show. This came from Darrel Ralph to me directly. Didn't go through any middlemans. This one I got at SHOT from Darrel Ralph, and it is an awesome knife. The minute I saw it, I fell in love with it and had to have this knife. So let's get, again, we got 9 inches overall. We've got a 4-inch blade with a 3.6, little over 3.6 inch cutting area. So we're losing about, 0.35 inches right here in this non-sharpened area where the blade stops before you get to the flipper. It is what it is. I mean, you got a 4-inch blade with, about a little over 3.6 inches of cutting surface. Not a problem for me. Handle is 5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.19 inches. That's a nice thickness. Now, this blade, this one specifically, the normal one is CPM S30V. This one is actually CPM S90V. You can see that. Maybe if it'll focus. Right there, CPM S90V. So this is a kind of a special edition one. There were a few of them that I saw that had the S90V. This one is one of them, and I absolutely jumped on it to get it because S90V is a really expensive blade steel, and these knives get a little outrageous when you start getting into S90V and some of that super higher end blade steels. That's why they don't get used quite as much in production runs as everything else does. S30V is a little bit more reasonable for a production knife. This is a Bowie shape with a hollow grind. The handle is aircraft grade aluminum with the Type 3 hard coating. This is a spring assist knife, just like the bullwhip was. And we'll kind of get into why it's called the gun hammer. If you look at this, this is a skeletonized 1911 style gun hammer. And that is your flipper. And you can hear that sound on there. I've got this one tightened up. It actually flies out. And it just sounds awesome. The liner here is actually a liner tab. It's not a full liner lock. It's a liner tab. Reminiscent of the Microtech SOCOMs. They didn't have a full liner, they had a liner tab. And this liner tab is titanium. So, as you can see, it's got a super early lockup, sub 50% lockup, a little less than 50% on the lockup. And I absolutely love it. This knife just comes screaming out. I love the machining they did on the handle. It's really cool 3D machine handle. It fits in your hand just perfectly. I mean, I've got big hands, and that 5-inch handle, I mean, I just sink right into it. You got just some real simple jimping right here on the spine of the blade. Nothing too crazy, but just enough for when you get that grip, your thumb just sinks right into it. And like the last one we saw, it is tip up, tip down, right-handed carry only. They don't do a lefty side. So here you can see, because I have it configured for tip up carry, you can see that this is just a decorative piece. This is actually the pivot adjust right there. And as you can see with this one, because it is a spring assist, it is pulled slightly over, but it is just absolutely perfect, and it just comes screaming out. And I love the stonewash finish that he did on this knife. It's got a great stonewash finish, just an absolutely beautiful hollow grind blade with that drop point Bowie style that they did, and it's just absolutely stunning. And I added a little lanyard to it because I carry this one. And some people were saying that, you know, the scales, they're just so slick, you can't get any traction. And that's literally just a complete and utter crock. You get perfect traction. I hold this knife all the time. I've been carrying this knife since I got it. It has literally dominated my everyday carry. And I cut stuff at work with it. I've cut boxes with it. I've done basic tasks with it. Man, I did food prep the other night because I didn't feel like using a kitchen knife. Then I just whipped out my freaking gun hammer and started chopping away on the freaking lettuce and the food, and I made my side salad to go along with my steak, and I was cutting my steak with this, and I tell you right now, that edge just glides through meat like butter, And like the last one we saw, this is the spring assist. Let's see if you can see it in there. I don't know if you can quite see it. There it is. You can see right there, you see the spring right there. Just absolutely here, you can see the tab. You see how it starts right around here and it goes right here. So there are springs under there, very similar to the design of the Microtech SOCOMs. Now you can use the thumb studs to deploy this knife. The thumb studs are more blade stops than thumb studs, really, because it is a flipper. But you can use either way to deploy. It fits perfectly in my hand. I get a great purchase on it. I have no problems with the traction on this knife. Like you can see here, I'll run my thumb on it, and just with a slight bit of pressure, my hand just locks right onto it. I mean, I'm pushing here and my hand's not moving forward on that. I mean, you can see, I mean, I'm pushing and I'm not sliding on this. So I don't know what these fairies were talking about where it's like, oh, you can't get a good grip on it. Your hand's gonna slide if your hand's wet. Again, these are not tactical knives. You are not going to be out there freaking cutting dudes' throats with your knife, getting blood all over it. I mean, the most you're going to do is snap this thing out to open your freaking package from Amazon of whatever knife you just ordered from Amazon or whatever. If you ordered something from Mr. Knife Guy, you're going to pop your knife out and slice the freaking tape open so you can get to your new toy. I mean, let's get realistic here, guys. This is not the Spec Ops world. I'm going to get right back to that. You are not a Spec Ops warrior. This is not Call of Duty, okay? This is reality. You don't need an ultra grippy, super traction knife to freaking do your everyday box cutting. All right, we're not the kind of douchebags, at least I hope the people watching my videos are not the kind of douchebags that are fucking putting skateboard tape on their friggin' knives to get more traction. I mean, I'm sorry, the world is not coming to an end. We are not freaking going zombie apocalypse. We are not gonna fall apart in the next 5 years in this country. It's not gonna happen, guys. Let's get back to reality. We use our knives to open boxes and potentially sometimes prep our food at work. That is the extent of our knives. Or if you're like me, you pry things with your knife and you do things to the blade that you shouldn't. Reference my freaking Ontario Rat 1. That was at one point a black blade. You can see the remnants of it. I actually, you can see I've had to reprofile that edge more than once now because I hammered this stupid thing into a door frame to crack the wood off with it and broke the tip. You know, so that's the kind of abuse my knives get. I mean, that's the extent of the news. You're not going to be out there slitting throats and getting your hand wet. I mean, I don't know how much work you're going to be doing with your knife that your hand's going to be that wet. And if you're out backpacking and camping, you're going to be using a fixed blade knife and you'll have gloves on. So again, irrelevant if it's not a super grippy handle. A relevant concept. So now that I've tried to bring you back to reality, blade, the weight on this is about a little over 5 ounces. I'd say this one is probably about 5.2, 5.3 ounces. The regular size one is about 4.8 ounces. Again, this one being the bigger size, getting a little bit more steel there, getting a little bit more handle material, so it's a little over 5 ounces. I was having trouble finding this specific size on some of the websites, and again, my scale is MIA, so it's over 5 ounces, but that's not a problem because we're men and we have man cards, so it's not a big deal to carry a 5-ounce knife. Okay. What else can I say about this knife other than it's fucking awesome and you should get one? The gun hammers, they range from anywhere from about $240 to $300 depending on where you get them and who you get them from. I mean, I know I got this one from Darrel Ralph, and I'm not gonna say what I paid for it because he gave me a screaming deal on it because it was SHOT Show. But again, I know Mr. Knife Guy, he retails these for the regular gun hammers for about $220, same as the Greg Lightfoot bullwhip. They're in that $220 price range. The bullwhip is $260. The gun hammers are running about $220 to $230-ish. So it's a worthwhile investment. If you were shied away from this knife because of other reviews you saw, I want to bring you back to reality. This is a stunning knife. It is a great knife to use. It feels good in your hand. You can see where they machine the liners for your grip on both sides. Your hand just, literally melts into this knife. Like it's great. It does not have the deepest pocket clip on in the world. It does have a pretty good inch that sticks out of your pocket, but again, back to reality. I don't give a damn if someone sees that I have a knife in my pocket. Frankly, if they're that giant of a vagina, they're probably liberal Democrat hippies, and I don't want to be their friend anyway, so I hope they're scared that I have a knife, because if they saw the gun that was under my shirt, they'd probably be peeing their pants, and calling the cops. Oh my God, that guy has a gun, I'm scared. Obama, save me. That's the kind of liberal hippie bullshit that we put up with in this world nowadays. God forbid someone sees your knife. You gotta have it super deep carry so no one can see and it's super stealthy. Get over yourselves, people. It's a damn knife. It's gonna stick out of my pocket. I'm gonna be able to get a hold of the damn thing and pull it out of my pocket. I don't have to be sitting there fumbling with my pocket to try to get the super deep carry knife out of the pocket like some of the other knives I've seen. I want to be able to just grab my knife and whip it out of the pocket and do what I gotta do and put my knife away and go on with my day. That's my philosophy. I don't know what your philosophy is. Feel free to leave comments and tell me I'm a fucking asshole, and well, if you do, that's awesome, because I am a fucking asshole and I know it, and that's cool.
So you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it one shot at a time.